Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and welcome to another News Daily video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Mauro Icardi, I'm going to be talking about Luca Jovic, and I'm going to be talking about Rakitic from Barcelona. But you guys, before I get into anything, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. I want to say thank you to everyone that constantly helps me out by downloading the link. You guys, as I constantly keep saying, the OneFootball app is the perfect companion app to have for every football fan, in my opinion, because the ease in which you can get the information you need. If you need lineup news, match facts before the game starts, news on players, teams, clubs, etc., etc., you can find all of that on the OneFootball app. If you guys want to help me out, the only way to do that is to go on the link in the description below, click on that, and download the OneFootball app through that link. As I always say, each download does get tracked by OneFootball, so it's the best way to help me out. But you guys, that's enough about me, getting straight into the News Daily video. And I'm going to be starting with Mauro Icardi. Now, yes, there is nothing linking us with Icardi that's new right now, but I still think that it's a quite interesting development happening with him and Inter Milan. Now, when it comes to our interest in the player, we've always had it. It's nothing new. Everyone knows in football that Chelsea want Icardi and they like the player. And you might be thinking, well, Nini, what's been up with Icardi? Well, this did come out yesterday, but he has been stripped of the captaincy at Inter Milan. Handanovic has taken over, and Spalletti was basically saying that it's come down to his relationship with the squad and issues happening behind the scenes. Let's be serious. If you're a player like Icardi and you're being stripped of the captaincy, you know that it's going to be massive major news, and it's going to be a massive L for the player. It's going to be a huge embarrassment, and I keep thinking this might potentially accelerate Icardi's move away from Inter Milan. Just to provide some more context to the story, Brozovic, the Inter Milan player, liked a few tweets discussing Icardi getting stripped of the captaincy, and Icardi's sister came out with a tweet that's since been deleted saying that she feels that it's his wife that's causing all the current issues with Icardi. And I wanted to talk about, is there a possibility that we do sign Icardi this summer? Now, before I say anything, one thing we have to realise is that if we don't get Champions League football, expect that to affect our summer transfer window. Let's be serious, if you're Icardi, there's no way that you're going to sign for us if we don't have Champions League football. But there's something I want to ask the fans as well. Now, yes, people want Icardi on paper, but actually try and see the practicality behind the deal. Imagine he was playing for us. I think that a lot of fans might have some issues with his game style. And we know with Icardi, he's one of the best, most potent penalty box strikers in the world. But Icardi just only scores goals. He's not playing for a team where he has to lead the line with the press. A lot of times Inter just let him do his thing, and he's been profiting from that. But if you're moving to the Premier League, where it's a league where players constantly say every single time that they have to get used to how aggressive the football is, how tight players get to opposition players. I think that Icardi could struggle in this league, and I think that one of the major risks, in my opinion, when it comes to signing Icardi is the fact that I don't feel we're the team right now that can consistently create chances for a penalty box striker. And I think because of that, fans are naturally going to be frustrated because Icardi could potentially not get many opportunities on goal, and they'll be even more annoyed when they see that he's not going to work hard, he's not going to drop deep and link the play. He doesn't really have much versatility to his game. But of course, with football today, roles have become much more specialised, and I do think Icardi would fit the theory of Sarri ball, in the sense that, imagine this was Napoli, they were constantly creating opportunities for their strikers in the penalty box, and if you have a player like Icardi getting on the end of these balls, expect him to score a ton of goals. I think to get the best out of Icardi, you really have to build the team around him in that sense. Yes, he complements Sarri ball, but until I see us signing a lot more players to really get the best out of the system, I feel like Icardi could potentially be a bit of a risky signing. But you guys in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Yes, I know what I'm saying about Icardi isn't really the popular opinion, but you guys know I like to analyse things and see things from a deeper perspective. So I would love to read your thoughts and opinions below. Moving on to the second story for today, that's in regards to Luca Jovic of Frankfurt. Now, before I get into anything discussing this story, I have told you guys already that Jovic is being monitored by us already, so it's not as if it's something new out of the blue. But reports from Bild are stating that we made a €45 million bid for Jovic. His agent is Ramdani, and Ramdani was the guy to help seal the Sarri deal to Chelsea. Anyway, Ramdani was in discussions with the sporting director of Frankfurt, discussing whether Jovic might potentially sign with them or not. But Bill did report that nothing has been decided from the meeting. Now, a few days ago, it did come out that Barcelona had allegedly agreed a fee for Jovic, but it's looking like that report was a bit too premature. Now, Jovic is a player in high demand. Barcelona and Real Madrid and Liverpool are three clubs actively monitoring the player. Frankfurt are in a very good situation at the moment because they have the possibility to activate the clause in the loan agreement to sign Jovic on a permanent, and the agreed fee is between 8 to 10 million euros. Now, you can easily imagine that Frankfurt are going to sign the player on a permanent for the summer window, and they'll look to flip the player on in the same window, which is going to generate a ton of profit for Frankfurt. Now, here's why I give my thoughts and opinions on the story. Ramdani could be a very interesting factor in a potential deal for Jovic because, of course, he was part of the deal to bring Jorginho and Sarri to the club. He was acting as the representative for that deal to really help with negotiations. And I think another reason as to why we do have a possible advantage to sign him on a permanent is the fact that we're one of the few clubs out there, one of the few big clubs that needs to strengthen up front. When you look at a lot of the other teams, they're already sorted when it comes to having strikers. Now, looking at Real Madrid and looking at Barcelona, if Jovic did sign for them, he's not going to be the first team player. He'll be the project player for those clubs. But if he does want to start and play games immediately, signing for us would be the best thing. But is it just as simple as fighting off competition from Barca and Real Madrid? Well, no. And one thing I'm going to keep stressing in today's video is the fact that if we don't get Champions League football, that's really going to affect the business we conduct in the summer. Still, I did have an idea. I was thinking outside the box. We do have a decent relationship with Benfica. What if, and again, I'm only being hypothetical, what if we have another transfer saga for this window involving Jovic where we're persuading Benfica to try and keep the player so we can then sign him from Benfica? Now, this sounds a bit far-fetched, but it could be a possibility. Let's be serious. If Benfica do sell him to Frankfurt, which in a way they would have to, Frankfurt are going to earn a ton of money from the player, meaning that Benfica are going to miss out on a ton. Now, if there is a possibility for Benfica to cancel that deal with Frankfurt and bring the player back to Benfica, then maybe we could negotiate with Benfica for a reduced fee, because in that sense, Benfica would be earning more transfer profit if Jovic was being sold by Benfica. Now, getting onto the player, and is Jovic the answer? Well, I think one thing he's got going for him, and one thing you have to pay attention to, is the fact that he's an under-23 striker that's in double digits for goals. He looks like he could potentially get more than 20 goals this season if he does carry his form. And when a 21-year-old's doing that, if you're a big club, you have to look at the player and actively monitor him. Now, when it comes to Jovic, he's been a guy that's had a massive reputation for a very long time. He's been earmarked as a guy to be one of the best strikers in the world. Yes, he had difficulties at Benfica, but during his time at Frankfurt now, he's really showing what he can do. But I do have some dilemmas when it comes to the player. Now, for me, he does kind of remind me of like a Dybala-esque player in the sense that, you know, he does like to play in the hole. He does like to make late runs in the box as well. And he will drop deep at times. And he is comfortable dropping deep to collect the ball. Obviously at Frankfurt, he is playing in a 3-5-2 alongside Haller up front. And of course, Haller's a big, physical, strong striker. He's going to create a ton of space for Jovic. And if you're a player that naturally gets by making late man runs in the box, you're really going to profit playing alongside a striker like this. Now, at Chelsea, we only use one striker up front. Could Jovic be that focal point for us? I'm not too sure. And again, I'm going to say something that I was saying similar to the first point in the video when I was talking about Icardi, and I was saying that, are we a team that necessarily creates these types of opportunities? Now, for me, if you're Jovic, you need a lot of people to make runs in behind to free up the space for you to get inside the box. Can we do that with this current squad? I feel like to get the best out of any striker we sign, we do need major overhauls in the squad. We need certain areas strengthened, because otherwise I see us making it very difficult for our potential strikers. Still, Jovic is very young. If he can potentially work under Sarri could develop a player who already has fantastic attributes. Low center of gravity, first time shots, very acrobatic, he can beat a man, he can link the play, he can play people in. He's quite complete for his age, and I think that this guy could potentially be one of the best strikers in the world when he's about 24 years old. And I think for us right now, we have to start thinking about the long term. And for me, Jovic does really excite me. But let's hope that we do secure Champions League football for this season. But anyway, moving straight into the final story for today, that's in regards to Rakitic and Chelsea links. Now this story is coming out from Sport in Spain, and they're stating that both us and Man United are monitoring the player because there's some current confusion in regards to Rakitic, as both clubs monitor Rakitic's current situation with Barcelona. Now Rakitic obviously does want to stay at Barcelona, but reports from Sport are stating that Barcelona aren't looking to entertain any more talks with Rakitic, and they could potentially look to move him on this summer. Now this does make quite a lot of sense. Barcelona have already agreed to sign Frankie de Jong from Ajax, and obviously it looks like he could be that Rakitic replacement. And when you look at Barca's midfield, they've got so many midfield players. Coutinho, who in my opinion, I think will end up playing in midfield for Barca. They've got Arthur, they've got Vidal. De Jong's coming as well. Rakitic might struggle to get consistent game time. Now, let's go back to the reality for this story. Rakitic is going to turn 31 next month. And here's where I give my thoughts and opinions now. Let's be serious. There's no way we're going to spend, number one, the amount of money to sign Rakitic in the first place, and number two, give him a massive contract when we know he's 31 and has no resale value. It's obvious that Rakitic and his agent will try to put pressure on Barcelona by, leaking stories to the press of interest from us and clubs like Man United. But Rakitic is a player that really doesn't fit the type of profile of player we look for. Now, yes, for me, stylistically, Rakitic is similar to Hamsik, and I think that he could easily play in the number 8 role, and he would really elevate that position. But I think he's too old now, and he's gonna cost way too much money, and to be honest, I like to see us develop Ruben Loftus-Cheek because I think the guy has some amazing attributes, and I think that if he can get one consistent season of first team football, he would show the entire league just how good of a player he is. And of course, let's be serious, if we don't get Champions League football, no way Rakitic would look to sign for us. So in my opinion, I feel like it's him and his agent just leaking stories to try and put pressure on Barca to reopen contract talks. But you guys, that's going to be me for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. As I said, if you want to help me out, go to the link in the description below, click on it and download the OneFootball app. I'm going to keep it moving. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.